Coach's Corner with Jay. With our host, Jeff Woodell, and featuring Redskins head coach, Jay Circosta. We'll be right back with Jeff and Jay.
See Swiss Lanes Realty if the beauty of Monroe County Hills is something you're looking for. You'll love the view from this beautiful log home with 3 to 4 bedrooms, full bath, county water, septic, gas, and electric. Because this home is not quite finished, you have the option of doing it yourself, or the seller will add floor coverings, kitchen cabinets, and furnace. And this 2-bedroom ranch with a partial basement on 47 acres offers seclusion close to town. Whatever your real estate needs, call Swiss Lands Realty today. It's time to stop by Whitsfield Savings and Loan. We offer a variety of rates and terms to suit your home mortgage needs. Our low rates make owning your own home affordable, and the Whitsfield Savings and Loan is an equal housing lender. Open Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday 9 to 3, Thursday and Saturday 9 to 12, and Friday 9 to 6. We pride ourselves in serving you quickly and efficiently. When it's time for a home mortgage or financial service, call us at Whitsfield Savings and Loan Company.
Hello and welcome to Coach's Corner with Jay. Coach, pretty impressive performance Friday night, 27-8. Varsity had a shutout during the whole game, held them down to 100 yards, the varsity defense did. Coach, last week's confusion with the strike and et cetera didn't seem to affect your team at all. Is that a sign of maturity and leadership on your team, Coach?
Well, I don't know about maturity and leadership. I really did feel that it was a lot easier than what we anticipated going into a Caldwell matchup. They've got a great program there, and they've had great tradition. And no win or no game is ever easy with Caldwell. And I was really surprised that we took the football and went down the field like we did at the beginning. But what really surprised me is when they came right back. And I thought, well, here we go, and it's going to be one of those, match touchdown for touchdown. But it didn't end up that way. We got it together defensively, and it was a little easier, a little more convincing than I thought it would be from the beginning.
Coach, our offense had 325 total yards, 27 points, 17 first downs, and we had 2 backs over 100 yards. And again, our defense done a good job again this week, as they have all year. They allowed no first downs in the second quarter at all against Caldwell. Caldwell come out and had that one drive, come right back trying to match our touchdown, and then we held, and that was pretty much their offense for their varsity the whole game. And in the second quarter, like I said, we allowed no first downs. Can you remember a Caldwell game that's been so lopsided?
It's been a while, Jeff, because like I say, it's been a pretty good matchup year after year, and we haven't had a lopsided victory that way for quite a while. In fact, even 2 years ago, 91, even though we shut them out 24-0, I believe it wasn't. It was that widespread. It was fairly even ball game. But I was real pleased with our defense's output again this week. We did a nice job defensively. It seemed like we took a little while to get adjusted, and they did move the football down on us several plays in that first drive. But then we came up with a big play, threw them for minus yardage, and then shut them down, and basically that was the end of it. But and offensively, as you mentioned, we put together some more impressive stats this week, and that's what we've been looking for. And if you recall, that's what I told you last week and the week before. In order to continue our winning ways, we would have to do the job offensively.
Okay, Coach, I guess as you said, you made reference to the 91-24-0. The score didn't really indicate the game this year, 27-8. Probably could have been 35-0 if you would have, I guess, been a bad guy or what have you. Coach, I know you don't like to talk about it, but it's inevitable. You're sitting here 4-0. You're atop the OVAC, the PVC, the small school poll in the Intel last week. You were first. I guess we dropped to third this week by not being the bad guy and running up the score on Caldwell. You're fifth in the AP. Computer ranking is third. This time 2 years ago in 91, when we had the real good team and we were 4-0, we weren't even in the top 10 in the AP. I forget where we were, but we hadn't cracked the top 10. In Telpo, I think we were third, and in the computer, we weren't in the top 4 yet at 4-0. I hate to say it, but this week again is a big game. Fort Fry's coming in 4-0. They're sitting in first place in Region 17, I believe, in their Division 4 school. They've got a lot of points. A win over Fort Fry pretty much probably propels us into first place in the computer. We're ahead of North Catholic this week. They're in fourth, we're in third, and they're always kind of our nemesis in the computer. How we've talked about this each week. Sounds like a broken record, but each week has been a big game. The first 4 weeks, it seems like we've had to been up each game. How do you avoid any letdown?
Well, we constantly tell our kids the same thing, Jeff, that as a result of what they do the previous week with a win, that makes the next week even bigger. It's not that last week wasn't a big game. It was. At that time, we were 3-0, and we needed to win over Caldwell to take that next step. And so Caldwell was the big game. And the week before, it was Payton City. And the week before that, Shadyside. And the week before that, Bishop Donahue. So now the big game is Fort Fry. As you mentioned, they're 4-0. We're 4-0. It's a matchup like it was 2 years ago. Both teams were 4-0. And everyone saw a real good football game. In fact, in that game, they played extremely well and good enough to win. And I don't know that we played real well that game, but we came out with a 16-14 win. And then, of course, went on to be undefeated, and, of course, everyone knows the rest as far as playoffs and so forth. But every week is a big game, and we impress this to our young men, the fact that they have to be up every week, because if they're not up to meet the challenge, there's going to be somebody there to take it away from them. And if they want what lies ahead, they have to be ready and prepared for the week and the challenge at hand. So I don't know that that'll be a big problem about getting up, but they do need to realize that it's just not another week of saying it's a big game. It is.
Coach, we've talked about this a little bit other weeks here. The first 4 weeks we kind of talked about, because it's strange. Each week has really been a big game. And, with the tradition that we have here at Woodsfield over the past 20 years, but the last 5 years, right now you sit 40-5. In the last 5 years, or 39-5, not quite sure. But, you've kind of raised up a notch. You've come up into that upper level, so to speak. You've gained respect statewide. Immediately when the polls come out, I think last week we were 8th or 7th, but you've gained that respect. And so with that respect comes added pressure, but comes a lot of expectations. Locally, there's been a lot of expectations of this team this year. And in years past, I know you always try to guard against the kids getting big-headed or people thinking you're 10-0 before you played the first game. But when you start getting a program like you've had with being 8-2, 9-1, 10-0, 8-2, and here you are 4-0. It's a real impressive 5-year run, and this year's far from over, and I know that. But once you start getting into that league to where a lot's expected, each game is big, and it almost gets to the point to where you can't not be ready. I mean, the kids in the last 5 years, maybe these guys can blame the first 4 teams ahead of them from the 4 previous years, but the pressure's on. They can't let down. There's a lot expected of them. They're playing in a program where they're expected to win. They've got respect statewide and valley-wide, and they can't let up, right?
Well, that's true, Jeff. There's always that pressure because of the type of program that we've had over the years, as you mentioned, with the winning tradition, that everyone kind of, they expect week in and week out to win. And, of course, we expect to win. But we all know there's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot in terms of preparation. There's a lot that has to happen. You have to get breaks and a lot of things in order to win. But we do expect to win. These young men, they've had, over the years, they've had a lot of pressure on because of everyone expecting to win. But, these things, like I say, just don't happen. You have to work real hard to get to that point. But I think probably more than any other pressure is put anywhere else, I know myself and I know a lot of the other coaches, it's kind of self-inflicted pressure that, you just strive to be the best you can do and do the best you can do, and sometimes you put more pressure on yourself than anything else. But we always tell the kids, too, we try to prepare the best we can for each and every game, and going in and then just go out and play and have a little bit of fun.
Okay, Coach. We'll be back with this week's guests, Jonathan Carter and Dustin Robinson.
Most
Masters Garage has recently added a new service to their long list of automotive repairs. They're now rebuilding starters, alternators, and generators. And remember, they specialize in custom exhaust work with the Ben Pearson Muffler Shop, as well as brake work, lube jobs, and oil changes. Masters features a full line of Quaker State products, including oil, filters, lube products, and parts to keep your vehicle in top running condition. Call Masters Garage today at 472-1232.
We're here with Jonathan Carter. Jonathan had a great game Friday night, 10 tackles, 2 CBLs, quarterback sack, a couple of nice shots from the defensive linebacker position. Were you surprised at the ease we handled Caldwell this week?
Yes, I thought it would be a better game, but with the defensive plan we had, we shut them down. They couldn't move the ball on us, except for their first possession, but we made a few changes, and we shut them down the rest of the game.
Jeff, our defense has been sound all year. Just how good is our defense?
I feel that Coach Trial, coaching the defense, will have anyone that would have Coach Trial would have a good defense, but I feel we have room for improvement on the whole defense.
Okay. You're a senior. This week, we've had the controversy the last few weeks with the strike situation, and this week could, realistically be your last game. How's it affecting you and the team?
I don't know really about the rest of the team, but it affects me a great deal because this is the only sport I play, and this is the only sport I love, and if I had to miss the rest of the games, I wouldn't be able to play any more sports. And since we got a good shot at having great things in the future to this football team, it means a lot to me.
Okay. This is the biggest game yet. I seem to sound like every week I'm repeating myself when I talk to you guys. You've been up. First week you were up. You had to be up. You played sluggish in the scrimmages. You played with emotion the second week against Shayside. The third week, Payton City was undefeated. Played with emotion. You had to be emotional this past week against Caldwell because they beat you guys last year and cost you a playoff shot. They've been a fighting opponent of ours the last few years, back and forth. But this week, Fort Fry's 4-0. They're number one in their region in the computer. This is a very big game. You guys have to be up 5 weeks in a row. Will you be up this week?
Well, this week can be up for every game because of the people who have their job. They might not show it, but as soon as they step on the field, the whole team they're always up as soon as they step on the field on Friday night.
Good. Coach, your comment?
Jonathan has done a tremendous job. He plays most of his ball on the defensive side at linebacker. And the one thing that Jonathan possesses and has always possessed is the aggressiveness and the ability to go out and hit somebody. And I think he's just gotten better and better with each game he's played. He had a great year last year at linebacker. Without a lot of experience, he stepped in there and did a fine job. He's picked up right where he left off last year, this year, and he's come up with some tremendous hits. And he goes to the ball extremely well. He's always around the football, and he's always willing to mix it up. And on top of that, he's just a super kid as far as anything you need him to do. You just tell him, he does it. He doesn't say anything. He gets his job done, and he's just a fine young man. And I think you're going to see a lot of good football yet to come from Jonathan. And you're going to see him a little bit more. If you haven't noticed, he's been in on offense just a little bit more than he has in the past. In fact, in previous games last year and early part of this year, once in a while fullback. But if you've noticed the last couple games, we've inserted him in there at one of the tight end positions because of his aggressiveness. He does a fine job blocking too. So he just does a good job all the way around, and we're real pleased to have a young man of his caliber in our program.
Jonathan, thanks for coming on the show. Good luck this Friday. We'll be right back with Dustin Robinson.
When you're rushed to get to the ball game or just going out of town, call Pizza Shack at Powhatan at 795-5900, and we'll have your order ready when you get there. Choose pizza, subs, sandwiches, or salads. Try our original breadsticks served with our own special sauce and cheese, and you'll understand why they're an absolute favorite. If you're in the mood for spaghetti, lasagna, or chicken dinner, stop in at our St. Mary's shop. The pizza business is our family's livelihood, and we strive to serve a quality product to our customers. Call Pizza Shack today.
We're here with Dustin Robinson. Dustin, you had a great game Friday night, 119 yards on 12 Ks for a 9.9 average, 1 touchdown. You've gotten on track the last couple of weeks. The first 2 scrimmages, you or Luke or anybody on the offense really looked very good. Luke got on track the first game or 2, and in the last couple of weeks you've gotten on track. Any reason as to why it's taken so long?
Well, first couple games there's been a lot of added pressure and with all the expectations, but the last few games I really just gone out and played, and I felt good in the offense.
Okay. You're just a sophomore, Dustin, and fairly small yet. Do you get any? You feel any intimidation? You get intimidated any when you're going up against seniors or people that might be a lot bigger than you are?
Not really. I've always been small, and people have always been bigger than I am, so I just take it as it comes, I guess.
Okay. Dustin, you and Luke have been in the same backfield since 4th grade in Pee Wee League. It's always been you and Luke back there, tailback and fullback. Does that seem to maybe make it a little bit easier for you guys playing together as you've gotten older?
Yeah, it has. I mean, we've been together so long, and when I block, he knows my blocking, he knows when he can cut, and when he blocks, I know which way to cut and which way he's going to block. It's helped.
Okay. What's your thoughts this week on the Fort Fry game?
Well, we're going to have to strap it up. Because on offense, they're going to come right at us, and on defense, they're going to have 7, 8, 9, 10 guys on the line. They're coming at us, so we just got to strap it up and be ready.
Right? Okay. Coach, your comments on that?
As you mentioned, Dustin, just being a sophomore, but came on strong last year about mid-season. He kind of moved into a position in the backfield and had a lot of fine runs last year, and he's picked up this year where he left off, and he's turned in, I think the last 2 ball games, he's kind of got on track, so to speak. And I think Dustin possesses a lot of things that a good back needs to have to be a good back, and they're things that you just don't teach. His moves, his ability to, by instinct, know when to cut back, like you'll see in the clips later on tonight on a couple of the sweeps where he would take the ball and start to the right or start to the left and make a cut back, and one I can remember very vividly where he cut back and had a big gain going back the other way against the grain. These kind of things, you don't really teach. You basically get him the football and let him go, and he's one that, and size, it doesn't mean anything to Dustin. He's got a big heart, and he runs with a big heart. He plays with a big heart. He's taken a lot of good hits and come right back at him, and I think you're going to see a lot of exciting things happen when Dustin gets the ball in his hands the rest of the year and the rest of his career.
Dustin, thanks for coming on the show. Good luck Friday night. We'll be right back to take a look at the clips from this past week.
Call Swiss Lanes Realty at 472-0614 if you're looking for a small-town property like this nice 3-bedroom ranch with a full basement and garage on 1.5 lots. Or, located on a nice corner lot, this 3-bedroom ranch has central air, city water and sewage, a 2-car garage, 1.5 baths, and a storage building. If you have property to sell, call us today at 472-0614. We take listings of all types of property at Swiss Lanes Realty.
Dustin starts the game with 11-yard run, shows nice second effort here.
We want to attack the outside, the perimeter here on him because they've been having a little trouble with the defensive ends. Here you get a couple nice blocks. Dustin sheds the block and then cuts back and picks up valuable yardage to get the game started off on the right foot.
Luke Shoemaker picks up 22 yards.
Now here we're in our wishbone formation, which we call senior formation. Here Luke does a nice job cutting back to the left and taking it in for about a 20-some yard plus run to get us in scoring position.
Luke Shoemaker gets us on the board early. Touchdown.
Again, now we're operating out of a sooner formation. We give to Luke here off the left side, and he cuts it back a little bit to the right and then takes it straight up the gut into the end zone for a touchdown.
Kenny Magilton shoots the gap for a CBL, loss of 3.
Big play in this defensive series here. Kenny does a nice job coming inside with showing a lot of quickness as he's done all year. Makes a key stop here, and that kind of put him in a negative situation.
Caldwell's knocking on the door, and Luke gets a crucial tackle for minus yardage.
This is the second big play in their first drive, and here Luke does a nice job moving inside and makes a nice tackle, and that pretty much took care of their first drive.
Chris Dalrymple, Dustin, Luke, Jeremy all combined on this fourth down stop.
So here nothing materializes for quarterback Roman Lori, and he doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to, and he tries to cut it back against the grain, but we got several white jerseys around him, and it comes up short of a first down, and we take over the football.
Luke Shoemaker picks up 30 yards.
So this is the old Washington Redskin counter tray or counter gap play. He comes back to the left side and cuts back inside, cuts against the grain, takes it back again, and does a fine job picking up real good yards, put us in scoring position again.
On third down, Ricky Russell picks up the first on this option.
So here the option this side, fine block by Chris Lynn, and Rick turns it up inside and picks up the first down.
Kenny Jolton causes the fumble here, and Larry Nelson, Jonathan Carter around. Larry recovers.
And here again, Kenny shows a lot of quickness. They try to come back up the middle, and he's right there to make the tackle, cause the fumble, and Larry gets on the football.
Ricky hits Larry Nelson, 8 yards, touchdown.
So here Larry's in a wide out position. Rick zips the ball out to him. Their defender fell down, but I don't think even if he had stayed on his feet that he had been able to keep Larry out of the end zone.
Kenny and Jeremy get to the punter after he bobbles his snap on a fourth down.
Yeah, big turnover here by Caldwell and gives us a football in good field position. We got a lot of white jerseys again around the football. Plus a penalty tacked on there at the end gave us a little additional yardage.
Luke ends the scoring in the first half as we take a 21-A lead to the locker room.
There comes a Redskin special again, a couple nice blocks, and he takes it on in the end zone for another touchdown.
Extra points are so automatic, Coach, we tend to overlook the extra point, but here Dalrymple's good again.
Yeah, Lumpy does a good job here punching it through. Gives us another point here to tack on for what we already have.
Jonathan Calder and Luke Shoemaker smell out this screen.
Another fine defensive effort. We got pressure on the quarterback. We also got good coverage over the middle to stop the screen.
Dustin Robinson picks up 33 yards.
So here you'll see a nice job by our backside guard, Jeremy Kramer, number 78. He'll pull here and come out and trap the defensive end, kicks out number 67. Dustin turns the ball inside and then breaks outside for a fine run.
Dustin Robinson on the option, 7 yards, touchdown.
Yeah, we run the option a little more, not a lot, but a little more here. They come on to Ricky and he pitches the ball. Dustin takes it on in for the touch.
Jonathan Calder, a big hit for CBL, causes a fumble. Larry recovers.
Here's that aggressiveness we were talking about with the Finn. Comes in, causes a fumble, and Larry pounces on the football, and it's our ball again, in their territory.
Jonathan Calder, a nice unassisted takedown here.
And here Roman Lori gives up the middle, and Jonathan's right there to throw the ball carrier down, again showing his aggressiveness at the linebacker position.
Little linebackers Calder and Shoemaker, CBL, on a fourth down play.
Again, big defensive play here. A lot of penetration by both Jonathan and Luke, and also Kenny there for minus yardage.
Dustin for 32 yards as he goes over the century mark.
Here again, we run the trap. Robert Allen pulls from the backside, kicks out their defensive end. Dustin takes it down the sidelines for a big yardage.
Gary Lincoln delivers a nice blow on this play.
We have some of the younger players in there. They try to run a little bootleg action here, and right before he steps out of bounds, Gary comes up and delivers a nice blow here on the sidelines.
Coach Caldwell gets on the board against our reserve team here.
So here they drive. They had a couple big plays in this drive, and here they take it in for a touchdown. They only score, and we basically set our goals, and we like to get as many shutouts as we can. But by the same token, the younger kids deserve a right to play. naturally, if we leave our first unit in, they're not going to score, but like I say, these kids deserve the opportunity to play. They work hard all week, and so they need that valuable experience, and that's when they're going to gain that valuable experience in a game situation, even more so in practice. So we felt that it was necessary to give them that playing time. And Caldwell's got a nice younger bunch of kids, and they did a good job in the reserve game this past Monday. And here they complete the pass for the extra point. We didn't do too good of a job, and I think that's where our younger kids need to become a little more focused when they get the opportunity.
The F.W. Shoemaker Insurance Agency was established in 1903. They have 3 agents and 3 customer service representatives to give you the kind of service you deserve. Being an independent insurance agency means they represent different companies, allowing them to compare for you. For all of your insurance needs, auto, home, life, bonds, business, or farms, contact F.W. Shoemaker Insurance Agency at 472-0876.
Coach, we have a real fine Fort Fry football team coming to Woodsville this Friday night. In 1991, we were 4-0. Fort Fry came to town 4-0, and it was a dogfight. I believe the score was 16-14, and we were lucky to get out of that game with a win. They were really pumped up, and you would have thought the opening play, John Knowlton took the ball 80 yards for a touchdown. You thought that would have took the wind out of their sails, and they'd probably just rolled over and played dead. But boy, they were pumped up. Now, they haven't beaten us. It's been 10, 12 years. I forget how long it's been now, but it's been a long time. They've got a lot of incentive, let alone the fact that with our rankings, in AP number 5, with our number 1 rankings, in OVAC PVC computer rankings. Now they're coming in number 1 in their division in computer. I don't know what they're ranked in the AP poll, but they've got a lot of incentive. They want the number 1 incentive. If they were 0-4 and we were 0-4, they want to beat us. They haven't beat us for a long time. And back in the 70s, it was a real good rivalry. Year in, year out, it was if we were 8-2 or 9-1, they were 10-0, or vice versa. They really gave us a run for their money. Our 2 10-0 teams back in the 70s. Coach, what kind of incentive do we have, given the fact we've beat them 12 years in a row? And we know it's a big game, but you've had big games all year so far.
Well, as you mentioned, both teams have a lot on the line coming in, both teams being 4-0. And we look at our situation and saying that we had a shot at a couple championships, possibly a playoff berth, and those things are all down the road. We can't worry about that. We have to worry about the task at hand as far as Fort Fry is concerned. They do have an excellent football team, and the fact is they have a lot on the line too. As far as the PVC is concerned, they don't have any losses in the PVC, and they stand atop the PVC and a chance to win a championship. They, as you mentioned, rank right up in there in the playoffs, something that they've never achieved, and I'm sure that's an extra incentive for them. So both teams have a lot of incentive coming in. Basically, it is a lot like it was 2 years ago. Them 4-0, us 4-0, and even with the type of football team we had in '91, it was an extremely difficult game, and we just got by, as you mentioned, 16-14. So we know we're going to be in for a tough football game, and I hope our young men are ready to meet that challenge.
Coach, Fort Fry, as we mentioned, they're 4-0. Who have they played so far? What's been the scores?
Well, so far they started off with a 28-0 win over Federal Hocking in their first game, and then they came back the second week and played a bigger school in Warren and defeated Warren 28-15. Warren's the only team that has actually scored against Fort Fry. Then the third week they defeated Southern 38-0, and then last week they defeated Zanesville Rosecrans 27-0. So as I mentioned, Warren being the only team that scored against them, and they put some pretty impressive numbers on the board offensively by scoring a lot of points.
Coach, it looks to be that it's going to be quite a shootout Friday. They're putting a lot of points on the board, as you just mentioned. Our defense seems to be the core of our team, but we're putting a lot of points on the board. What do you expect to see from them offensively as far as formations and key personnel?
Well, basically a little different than we've looked at the last 2 weeks against Caldwell and Payton City. In those 2 games we faced quarterbacks that we anticipated would throw the football, and we're prepared for a lot of varied formations such as a one-back offense and no-back offense. This week we're going to be back to looking at double tight end a good bit of the time, They will have a wing or a flanker occasionally, and they'll be running out of an eye backfield a good bit of the time. And they basically like to run the football. They basically buckle it up and come right at you. They've got a lot of people that we need to watch. They've got an improved quarterback in number 9, Chad Huck, who got a lot of experience last year. They've got a couple kids that played on that 1991 team and did an excellent job. In number 13, Darrell Booker, who's played both at fullback and tight end. He's a very aggressive young man. He can catch a football. He can run the football. Number 34, Shane Burkett, is another kid that's extremely aggressive, and he played an important role back in '91 when they gave us fits, and he's had a nice year so far at tailback. Doesn't have the blazing speed, but enough speed that he can break it and go the distance. They have another young man who has excellent speed, and that's number 21, Bobby Carney. They've used him at fullback. They like to throw the ball to him occasionally, and he can go the distance on any play. And we're also concerned about him and Shane Burchard because they both returned punts for touchdowns. A couple other young men offensively, number 77, Ron Sexton, who's their left guard, does a lot of pulling and trapping, and that's a big thing in their offense. And then number 83, Jared Kesserling, has caught a few touchdown passes for him and seems to be their primary receiver. So those people we're going to have to watch on offense because those are the people that have been getting the job done for them, putting the points on the board.
Okay, and Coach, on defense, Fort Fry still run the same 4-4 defense, and what's their personnel that you can expect?
Well, I'll tell you, defense is definitely their strong suit. Even though they put a lot of points on the board offensively, this, I think, has been the real thing that's made them an early season success is their defense. They have Coach Hennessy back, who's been out for a year or two of coaching, and he comes back, and with that 4-4 defense, they turn into a 6 and an 8 and 9 men front a good bit of the time. They like to stack up on you. They like to send a lot of people. We're going to see linebackers coming from all different positions, and I can tell you right now, we felt we were against a good defense against Shadyside, but we feel that this is the best defense that we've faced all year, and this is going to be a real test for our offense. In fact, this defense, not only do they have 3 shutouts, one being the only team that scored on them, but this defense, now get this, in 4 games, they have allowed only 10 yards total rushing. Now, I don't care who you're playing, whether you're playing, Pee Wee ball or what it is, 10 yards rushing given up in 4 games is very, very impressive. So it's going to be a real challenge for our offense. They have several kids, some of which we already mentioned. Darrell Booker is extremely aggressive and plays a big role in their defense. Shane Burchard also does a nice job defensively. A couple other kids, number 51, Andy Makris, is an outside linebacker. He's about the most aggressive kid that I've seen so far this year. Number 76, Chad Kaufman, is another outside linebacker. They're going to give us a lot of pressure. They're going to send a lot of people, and we're going to have to be able to offset that.
Okay, Coach. Well, we expect a fantastic game Friday. We want to wish you luck Friday night. We'll see you next week.
It's still hot outside, but fall weather is just around the corner, and so is the Economy Store, with big savings on summer clothes for those 80-degree September and October days, and lots of new fall clothes for those cool autumn nights. The latest in fall suits and dresses on the rack for those who like the executive look. If you prefer a more casual look, the Economy Store is the place to go for beautiful sweaters. Mix and match with name brand jeans, dress slacks, skirts, or skirt pants. And they have accessories in the latest fashion colors. Christmas laylays, dress code, and personal service are waiting for you at the Economy Store.